The casket thudded into clay. The preacher looked anywhere but at her. Men folded chairs with the care they never gave her. Mara stood thin at the edge, hands empty, the ground soft in a way that wanted her. A stranger waited under the cedars, coat dusty, jaw set, watching the bend in her knees that said the day was about to take her. He crossed the space before anyone else moved. "Don't touch me," she said. "I'm not touching. I'm carrying," he said, and he lifted her, like it was a task that would not wait. Someone laughed too loud, then shut his mouth. The old woman with the folded scarf came close, eyes hard as tacks. "Put her down, boy." He held her steady. "She's light as a promise." The sheriff stepped up, badge dull, hat low. "You kin?" he asked. "Yes," the stranger said. "No," Mara said. The sheriff chewed the quiet. "Pick one, wife," the stranger said. The word landed like a nail in dry wood. Hats tilted. Talk died. The governor's cousin, who owned the mill, smirked into his cuff. "Paper makes wives. Paper makes men. Paper burns," the stranger said. He turned toward the road, carrying her. The town opened not for mercy, but for the habit of looking away. Men shifted because the badge behind the sheriff's eyes still meant trouble. Dust hung. The hymn never started. "I can walk," she said, weak and angry at once. "Save the walking for when it's uphill," he said. His breath stayed slow. His arms did not shake. She waited for a tremor and hated that there wasn't one. Fresh dirt glittered beside the hole. "What's your name?" she asked. "We'll trade when you eat." "I don't eat." "Then I'll lie for both of us." The sheriff watched and did nothing. He saved his work for after witnesses went home. The cousin tipped his chin toward his idling car. The driver's hands gripped 10 and 2 like prayer. They reached the gate. A little girl slipped from behind her mother's dress and held up a ribbon, blue once, now gray from clutching. "Mama said, 'Hold tight,'" the girl whispered. Mara took it because the girl needed to give it. "I'm tired of tight," Mara said. "Then let go into me," the stranger said. The mother pulled the girl back. The iron hinge moaned and would not stop. The gate swung and kept swinging, unwilling to choose a side. They cleared the yard. The road opened like a narrow throat. He shifted her so her cheek rested against his shirt. It smelled like soap and road. Air scraped her ribs. "Set me down," she said. "Not yet. You lied to the badge." "I told the badge what it understands." "What's that?" "Ownership." The word hit her chest like a work boot. "I don't want a husband," she said. "Good. I'm not one," he said. She watched his throat move when he swallowed. His hand was not the hand that hurt her. She could not hate it either. They passed the feed sign with its chipped arrow. Dogs lifted their heads and then laid them down. The cousin's car rolled slow by the fence line. "Sheriff'll fix this," the cousin said. "If he's told to," the driver said. "He's always told," the cousin answered. Men on tailgates stared with flat faces. Women held cups and counted without numbers. Nobody asked if she needed help because help carried a bill and her pockets were air. The preacher locked the church like truth might slip back in and steal a hymn. A boy ran along the ditch, counting the strangers, steps in losing count at 12. "Mister, you strong," the boy said. "Strong enough to be wrong," the stranger said. "What's wrong?" "Leaving a woman standing when the ground wants her." The boy slowed, thought about his mother, and turned back. The porch they came to sank in the middle. The door stuck at the latch. He bumped it with his hip, and it gave inside. The air was the same thick air as the cemetery. A narrow window showed a leaning shed and a strip of hard grass that refused to die. "Whose room?" she asked. "A safe room," he said. "There aren't any. We'll pretend." He set her on a chair shaped like a prayer. The wood, new bruises, food, she said. Bread, honey, salt. Salt for what? For telling the truth. He laid the ribbon on the table and smoothed it once like a map. Name Mara. I'm Harlan. You call me wife again, I'll tear your shirt. Then I'll own less cloth. She almost smiled and did not. He broke the bread into coins on a chipped plate and opened the honey. It moved slow, patient as a hard winter. He set the plate where she could reach without knowing she was reaching. She stared until the edges blurred. A fly wrote a circle and quit. He did not push the plate. He looked away and gave her the mercy of not watching. She picked up a coin, dipped honey, tasted it. It was almost nothing. It was enough. She chewed and swallowed and felt the floor come closer to level. He slid her a glass of water. She drank and set it down. Shame went cool under her tongue. What do you want? She asked. A quiet room and a clean start. There aren't any. We'll pretend. He moved like a man who placed things the same, so nothing jumped when the floor talked. Outside, the cousin's car glided away with the sound of a plan. The sheriff's truck idled, then left, as if he had forgotten something on purpose. At the church, the choir leader turned off the light and pressed her forehead to the door. You carried me, Mara said. I did. Harlan said, don't do it again. I won't unless you ask. I won't ask. Good. The words lay between them like tools before work. He nudged the ribbon closer. She did not touch it. Why did you come? She asked. Because they wouldn't. You don't know me. I know enough. What's enough? You were falling and they were watching. She closed her eyes against the sting. I can walk. Save the walking for when it's uphill. He lifted her again. The yard held its breath. A man on the steps cleared his throat and thought better of it. Put her down, someone muttered, not loud enough to own it. Carry her right, another said, like there was a wrong way to hold a person. Mara felt the ribbon pressed between her fingers and did not know when she had gripped it. You making a claim? The sheriff asked, without looking up. I'm making a choice, Harlan said. About her, about me. Mara heard that and felt heat in her face. That was not shame. You don't get to rename folks, the cousin called. Watch me, Harlan said. The preacher took one step forward, then back. The girl with the ribbon waved once and hid. The gate creaked, as if it had a say. You afraid? Mara asked. Yes, Harlan said. Good, she said. Me too. They kept going. The hinge moaned. The gate at the end of the path swung and kept swinging. The hymn never started. The town watched with the same angle they used for graves and taxes. The silence sat like a law, signed by nobody, obeyed by all. She was in his arms, her breath caught, the town watching. The gate kept swinging and would not settle. The hinge complained as Harlan stepped into the road with Mara in his arms. She felt the town behind her like a hand that never learned how to hold without hurting. He carried her steady, each step measured, the heat pressed flat on the dirt. She kept her breath low because it was the only thing she still owned. People watched without blinking. The silence followed them like dust that would not wash off. Put me down, she said. Not yet, he said. She searched his face for a name she could hate. You lied to the badge. I told the badge what it understands. What's that property? The word sat wrong in her chest. I don't belong to anyone. I know. Then stop saying wife. It made space, he said. Space for what? For you to breathe. She did not thank him. She kept her eyes on the gate and told herself it swung because nothing here could rest. A boy ran along the ditch, counting steps out loud. He lost track at 12 and flushed. Mister, you strong, he said. Strong enough to be wrong, Harlan said. What's wrong? Letting a woman fall while you watch. The boy's face changed. He slowed and turned back toward the church, eyes on his shoes like the ground had rules. A woman on a porch stared, then pretended to dust the rail. A man by his truck spat near his boot and watched it dry. The road kept going, open and thin. Outside, A truck idled and went away. Harlan stayed standing and put weight into the air. She reads first, he said. She doesn't need to read, the cousin said. She needs to accept. I accept nothing, Mara said. Words don't change pages, the sheriff said. They decide who turns them, Harlan said. What happens if the hours stay unpaid? She said. The mill owns what he left, the cousin said. There is nothing to own, she said. We count everything, the cousin said. Even what people think is theirs. You came fast, she said. We come when the dust is fresh, the cousin said. And before trouble hardens, the sheriff said. Too late, Harlan said. The sheriff glanced at the plate. Eating, he asked. Trying, she said. Good, he said. Mara looked at her hands and saw crumbs clinging like small witnesses. He hit me when he signed, she said. This isn't about feeling, the cousin said. It is to me, she said. It is here, Harlan said. Law don't hold hurt unless it leaves a mark the judge understands, the sheriff said. I have marks he never saw, she said. We see them, Harlan said. The book stays. The bill stands, the cousin said. Come to the office tomorrow. She won't, Harlan said. Then we will come here, the cousin said. I can't stop a bill, the sheriff said. You can stop a threat, Harlan said. Are you the husband? The cousin said. I said yes, Harlan said. I said no, Mara said. You two aren't helping each other, the sheriff said. We'll practice, Harlan said. Mara set her palm on the book. Why not bring flowers? She said. We did, the cousin said. You brought a bill, she said. Please go. The sheriff tipped his hat. Cousin tapped the ledger, followed him out. Open it, Harlan said. He opened it. The first page turned with the sound a wing would make if it were paper, and remembered flying. The first page had turned, and the next page smelled like rain that never arrived. Columns stood like fence posts, hours stacked until a man's life. Looked neat and false. Crumbs clung to Mara's fingers. The ribbon waited near the plate like an order she could refuse. He worked nights, she said. He screamed them, Harlan said. You heard. Everyone heard. Everyone ignored. She stared at the numbers and heard the breath that used to crawl under their door at dawn. The rough saw of a voice that never softened when the light came in. He said the night was a job, she said. It was a mouth, Harlan said. It bit. Between two tall columns, a folded sheet slipped free and landed on her crumbs. Harlan caught it before the honey glued it to the wood. The paper was stiff. The ink was the color of old teeth. He smoothed the crease with the side of his hand. Whose hand? He said. The cousin's clerk, she said. She knew the tidy 7 he made, and the slash he called a smile. Harlan read it low, so the words sank. Pay in quiet, or we draw water till you drown. Water, he said, though his eyes already knew. Behind the mill is a well, she said. Men say it keeps books for the dead. Wells don't keep anything. People do, he said. People fall, she said. People are pushed, he said. He slid the letter under the ledger's corner and turned another leaf. Winter hours rose, pay fell, and the math lay wrong as a bent gate. He signed for a double, Harlan said. He came home with nothing, she said. Except bruises, he said. Bruises don't print in a ledger, she said. They do if someone writes them, he said, and tapped the margin where a faint mark sat, a tiny cross that could have been a cough or a conscience. Her hand tightened on the table until the wood knew her again. He told me the foreman liked men who kept quiet, she said. Quiet made him brave, Harlan said. Quiet made them rich, she said. He shook the spine once. Another folded. Slip peeked out. He tugged it free. The same hand. The same neat thread. The same curl on the 7. He stacked both slips and squared their corners, then laid them where the light could read them too. They sent this to your door, he said. He made me hold it while he signed, she said. He said he had to, or they would take his hours away. Hours they already took, Harlan said. He believed them anyway, she said. Belief is cheaper than wages, Harlan said. The room held a stillness that did not feel safe. Far off, a truck shifted a gear and changed nothing. A date blinked at him from the middle of winter, small but sharp. He had seen it in her face before he found it on the page. He reached into his pocket and brought out a grease pencil worn to a stump. He circled the date until the paper shone around it. Then he dragged the stub across a word from the letter and pressed until the point flattened. Well, he said the dark down there was warm, she said. Warm means bodies, Harlan said. The air cooled without breeze. The house listened. She tasted iron in her mouth and swallowed it back. He went there, she said. He didn't come back the same, Harlan said. He didn't come back, she said. If we go there, we don't come back the same, she said. We weren't the same when we left the grave, he said. You don't have to take me, she said. I'm not taking you. We go, he said. Together. Together. You think the sheriff will stop us? He'll watch to see who wins. She hated how true that sounded. She saw the sheriff's patient eyes, careful as a man who waits for orders. She saw the cousin's clean cuff and the driver's tight hands. She saw the gate that wouldn't close, still swinging somewhere inside her. He turned another page and found a row where the name had been scraped off and written again in duller ink. They moved him between lists, he said. From men to something else. To debt, she said. To shadow, he said. In the margin, near the circled date, the clerk had written a smaller word, half rubbed away. Reconcile, Harlan. Read. At what? She said. At the well, he said. He dragged the pencil under the word again, until the page took it like a bruise. Her stomach tightened. It was hunger and fear and the old habit of waiting, all braided and pulled tight. The door rattled once as if a palm had pressed and let go. The wind had no weather. The ribbon lifted and fell like a thing trying to choose. Harlan kept his hand on the book as if it might run. Eat another coin of bread, he said. Then we walk. We run, she said. No, we walk like people who own time, he said. We don't, she said. We borrow it back, he said. She took the bread, dipped it, chewed. It tasted like work. It stayed down. He nodded once, a small agreement with the body. Why do you care? She said. Because they won't, he said. You don't know me, she said. I know a woman who stood at a hole and kept standing, he said. Heat pricked behind her eyes, but she kept them dry. He followed hours down the page with his finger. Under totals, a small note, weighted, balanced by water. He read. Enough, she said. Enough, he said. He set the pencil in the gutter, took it back, and underlined well again, until the stub dulled to a soft blunt. He closed the ledger. The words sat behind his eyelids like a nailed sign. None of them wrote. They stepped out, and the yard leaned after them, the ledger under Harlan's arm beating like a second heart. Mara kept pace, jaw set, eyes on the long stripe the mill threw across the ground. I hate that place, she said. Places don't mind hate. People do, he said. They reached the back lot where cinders ate grass. A guard waited by a chained stone ring, chewing a matchstick. Closed, the guard said. We're opening it, Harlan said. Who says? The sheriff said nothing from his truck, hat tipped toward the chain like a blessing withheld. That silence says, Harlan said. You'll fall, the guard said. We've been falling, Mara said. Harlan set the ledger on a post and worked the lock. The chain gave with a groan that knew names. The lid lifted by inches. Cool. Air climbed out like a slow animal. Rope holds, Harlan said. Held men heavier than truth, the guard said. Mara looked at the loop that vanished into the dark and felt her chest shrink. Hold this, she said, pressing the ribbon into Harlan's palm. I'll give it back, he said. I don't want it back, she said. He tied the ribbon to his wrist, tested the line, and set his boots on the rim. He lowered until the dark took his shoulders. First rung, Harlan said. Second, Mara said, putting her foot where his had gone. Stay topside, he said. No, she said. You don't have to prove anything. I have to stop waiting, she said. They descended together, step by step, the metal thin underfoot. Names were cut into the damp by men who were not poets, but had knives and time. I hear water, Mara said. I hear counting, Harlan said. How deep? She said. As deep as they needed to sleep, he said. He looked up once. Daylight shrank to a pale coin. The sheriff struck a small star. It did not move. Third rung, Mara said. Fourth, Harlan said. The numbers steadied them. Men carved this, Harlan said. Men were made too, Mara said. Above, the guard's matchstick ticked against his teeth. You sure? His voice came down. No, Harlan called. Good, the guard said. The rope creaked. A knot slid under Harlan's palm like a lie. He shifted his grip and kept going. You afraid? She asked. Yes, he said. Good, she said. You, yes. Then we're honest, he said. They paused where the wall bowed. We can go back, he said. We already left, she said. Say his name, he said. No, she said. Say yours, he said. Mara, she said, the sound coming back honest. She found the next rung. He lowered after her, the ribbon bright, when a sliver of light found it. The shaft widened at their shoulders. A draft without breeze twitched the rope. Third, she said again, and he didn't correct her. Fourth, he said, because answering mattered. They moved until talking cost too much air. The edge of a broken badge glinted and went dark. Mara felt grooves like ledgers kept by hands that did not forgive. He came here, she said. He was brought, Harlan said. He said it was warm, she said. Warm means bodies, he said. Her shoes slipped and caught. His shoulders steadied her. Don't save me, she said. I'm holding the rope, he said. You're holding me. I am, he said. Why do you care? She said. Because they won't, he said. You don't know me. I know enough. Enough is what? You kept standing at the grave, he said. Silence pressed, then eased. Tell me when, she said. When we turn back, if we have to, she said. We turn back after the truth speaks, he said. They dropped another rung, then another. Rust stained the rope where palms had held and slipped. A cold current rose and sank, as if the earth was testing them. Third rung, she said, stubborn. Fourth, he said, steady. The walls narrowed and widened like the throat of a thing that breathed slow. He pictured the circled date and the word he had underlined until the page bruised. Mara's fingers brushed his wrist. The ribbon rasped. We don't come back the same, she said. We weren't the same when we left the grave, he said. Say it again. We weren't. The light above thinned to almost nothing. Stone, iron, rope, breath. The bottom breathed like a chest that belonged to the town itself. And though they had not touched it yet, they felt the slow lift and fall of it, climb the rope and settle in their bones. Boots sank and held. The mud felt like bread dough under their weight. The beam from Harlan's lamp cut a thin slice across stone. The rope thrummed at his palm. Mara stepped off and felt the ground try to keep her. Drops tapped her neck and slid under her collar. He was here, she said. He isn't now, Harlan said. What does that mean? Someone finished him and called it gravity. His light found a mound. Bones waited in a tidy heap, patient as pennies. A badge cracked across the middle, winked through silk. Harlan wiped it with his sleeve until the star showed and broke again. Deputy, he said. Or someone who owned one, Mara said. That badge ever helped, he said. It helped people with badges, she said. Beside the bones sat a tin box, dented like a cheek that never healed. Rust freckled it. Permission, Harlan said. She nodded. He pried with his knife, and the hinge gave a small cry. Letters lay tight inside, bound with dark string. Each page showed the same clerk's hand, the same neat 7, the same total, priced in hours. He held one where the lamp could read. He paid with his life, she said. They invoiced the funeral, Harlan said. He lifted another sheet. The corner tore. He read low. Pay in quiet, or we draw water till you drown. A small old sound moved around them, the whisper the ground makes when it remembers rivers. Did you hear that? She said. Names, he said. He turned a page. The ink had run like it tried to leave but did not know the road. They used the well to balance the books, he said. So the town could sleep, she said. Sleep is expensive, he said. Mara moved to the wall. Grooves showed in the lamp's circle. First names, a year half cut, a cross beside 3. He worked nights, she said. He screamed them, Harlan said. You heard. Everyone heard. Everyone ignored. The rope above creaked and settled like a tired back. Harlan tugged once, and the knot answered in his hand. What now? She said. We climb with proof, he said. Proof is paper, she said. And bone, he said. He wrapped the letters in his shirt, tied the string, and hooked the tin to his belt. The weight tugged at his hip like duty. He looked at the badge and left it where it lay. Not that, Mara said. It belongs to the habit, he said. Let the habit rot. It will. He swept the light around. The beam touched a boot heel, a lunch pail with no lid, a rope end cut clean. He swung to the opposite wall and found a seam where the mortar looked younger. A small, bright point lived there. A nail had sat in the joint as if to hold a bag. There, Mara said. There, Harlan said. She looked up. Daylight was a faint coin. The well breathed without air. He said the dark down there was warm. She said. Warm means bodies, he said. Say you believe me, she said. I believe you, he said. Say they won't call this an accident, not while I speak, he said. Say you won't let me forget. I won't, he said. He moved the lamp over the mortar near the nail and saw hair-thin scratches, the color of soot. Something hung here, he said. A sack, she said, or a throat. He did not argue. The rope above them moaned, like a hand shifting. He stood so she was closer to the ladder rungs. Hold the line, he said. I am, she said. He passed her the tin. Guard it. I am not a child. I know. Then don't hand me things like you own them. I'm handing you what is yours. She pressed the box to her chest. Paper rustled like thin leaves. She thought of the clerk's neat 7 and wanted to break his pencil. We should take a bone, she said. We should take a name, he said. He aimed the beam at the carved list. Elam, he read. Ruth, she read. Tanner, Cole, Mark, Lyle. She stopped at the crosses and did not speak them. He is not on the wall, she said. Some men do not get ridden, Harlan said. Some men do not deserve it, she said. He looked along the floor, where water had laid itself thin as a skin. Bubbles lifted and broke without sound. How many? She said. Enough to keep the town quiet, he said. Enough to feed the mill, she said. Enough, he said. She set her boot on the lowest iron nub and tested it. It talked, but held. Tell me when you are ready, she said. In a breath, he said. Now, say his name, Harlan said. No, she said. Say yours, he said. Mara, she said. The well gave nothing back. Good, he said. He lifted the lamp and swept once more across the seam. The light kissed the nail head and made it bright. There, she said again. There, he said. A tremor moved through the rope. not the shift of their own weight. It was a slow lean, the careful pull a man makes when he wants a knot to choose. Harlan set his free hand on the rung and slid his boot for a better hold. Mara tucked the tin close and held her breath. The mud sighed under them. The carved names took the light and did not blink. Someone is up there, she said. Maybe, he said. The guard. Or the cousin, he said. Or the habit, she said. The rope creaked again, patient as counting. Harlan steadied the lamp and did not look up. He aimed the beam at the small bright point set in the mortar, the glint that marked where bags had hung and where ledgers were made by hand. There, Mara said, almost a prayer. There, Harlan said, and he flicked the light toward the glinting nail head in the mortar. They passed painted signs and rusted trucks. No one drove anymore. Dogs lifted their heads and laid them down again. The road bent toward the mill, a long low shape, waiting for morning shifts. The cousin's car idled near the turn, windows up, face pale behind glass. Sheriff will fix this, the cousin said. The driver kept his hands locked on the wheel, if he's told to. He's always told, the cousin said. The car stayed still, like it wanted to see which way trouble would walk. Behind it, the smokestack cut the sky and did nothing. I don't want a husband, Mara said. Good, I'm not one, Harlan said. What are you? A man who can carry for a while. I don't want to be carried. You won't be for long. How do you know? Because you're already arguing, he said. Her mouth tried to lift, and she would not let it. Where are you taking me? A house? Yours? Borrowed. From who? A woman who left through a smaller door. She knew what that meant, and said nothing. They crossed a shallow rut, left by yesterday's rain. He stepped over it, like stepping over a name he would not say. Her stomach pinched and loosened in waves. I can walk, she said. Save the walking for when it's uphill, he said. You think I can't handle a hill? I think you don't have to prove it today. She listened to his breath. It stayed even. She hated that steady sound and wanted to rest inside it at the same time. What's your name? She asked. We'll trade when you eat. I don't eat. Then I'll lie for both of us. The house stood behind scrub trees, like it did not want to be seen. Paint had given up. The porch sagged in the middle. The steps took weight and complained, but did not break. Harlan bumped the door with his hip, and it stuck, then let go. The air inside felt like the cemeteries. He set her on a chair with a back rubbed smooth by bedaze. He put his coat on another chair, then moved to the small counter as if he had been here before and knew where tired hands went when the room had nothing else to offer. Whose room? She said. A safe room, he said. There aren't any. We'll pretend. Food, she said. Bread, honey, salt. Salt for what? For telling the truth. He set a chipped plate between them and broke the bread in two, coins pushing one toward her, then stopping so it sat in the center like pay no one had signed for. He laid the ribbon on the table and smoothed it once, as if tracing a road he hoped she would take. Name, he said. Mara. I'm Harlan. You call me wife again, I'll tear your shirt. Then I'll own less cloth. The front door stayed open. The yard looked back in. The same air as the graveyard came and went without asking. Every room in the little house felt like a low sky. Harlan filled a glass from the pump and set it by the plate. Eat what you can, he said. What I can is nothing, she said. Then we start with nothing. He waited. He did not stare. He watched the doorway, as if the doorway might learn manners. She touched the bread. She pulled her hand back like someone might slap it. No one did. She tried again and took a small bite. The bread was dry. The honey moved slow. It was almost nothing. It was enough. Outside, a truck rolled by and did not stop. Two women crossed the road with their heads together. One looked in and then looked away fast, like she had been caught holding a private thought. They'll talk, Mara said. They already were, Harlan said. About you too. Let them. It will cost, she said. Everything here costs. I brought a ledger, he said. I don't need a ledger. I need a door. That closes. It does close, he said, and then did not close it. The open space felt truer than a latch. He turned the tin of salt between his fingers. Truth is hard to say without something that bites, he said. I don't owe you truth, she said. I know. Why are you kind? I'm not kind. I'm stubborn. You don't know me. I know enough. What's enough? You were falling, and they were watching. She looked at the ribbon, and did not touch it. The girl said, hold tight. She said, you look tired of tight. I am. Then hold to yourself. That never held, she said. Then we build something that does. He moved the way farm men move when waiting on water to boil. He found a clean spoon, tested the pump again, set a second glass down as if someone else might walk in who needed to sit. She watched his hands and the way he never stood between her and the door. The windows showed scrub and a fence line and a horizon that lived close, as if the world had shrunk and decided to stay small. She ate another bite. The bread stayed rough. The honey softened it. Her belly remembered how to listen. You took me from the yard, she said. Yes, you said, wife. Yes. Say it again, and I'll throw this glass. Then we'll clean it up, he said. She let the thread hang and fall by itself. I can pay for bread, she said. You already paid for it, he said. With what? With every year they did not see you. She looked down so he would not see the wet in her eyes. The salt sat between them like a white hill. She took another bite and kept it down. A car door closed somewhere. Voices passed and faded. The house settled. A board cracked and then stayed quiet. Her husband's shape visited the edge of her mind like a cold hand. She pushed it out with the work of chewing. Who left this place to you? She said. She left it to herself, he said. She went out a smaller door, buried. Gone, he said. Sometimes that is the same. You think I'll run? I think you'll choose. And if I choose not to be carried, then you walk out and I move aside. You'd let me. I'd watch your back until the road bends. He wiped his hands on a towel and checked the street. Eat, he said again. Softer? Drink. She did without calling it that. The water cooled her throat. The bread put weight in her belly, like a simple promise. She set the glass down and listened to the quiet. It was not safe. It was not loud. It was room to think. She breathed in and let it out. Her hands steadied on the arms of the chair. He slid the ribbon nearer. When you want it, he said. She said nothing. He lifted the plate and stood. Ready? He said. For what? For the room. Whose room? The one that remembers, he said. He stepped to the hall. She rose slowly and followed. The floor gave a small sound under their feet and then went still, as if it agreed to hold them. At the end waited a narrow door. He turned the knob. The wood moved without protest. The door opened on a short bed, a thin window, and a mirror, clouded by breath that was not hers. A dress hook leaned from the wall. A scuff near the frame showed where a trunk had scraped on its way out. The air held a faint trace of soap and a ghost of cheap flowers. The room remembered other women. The door stood open to it, waiting. The bread was dry. The honey was slow. Mara sat small at the table, while crumbs clung to her fingers and refused to fall. The ribbon waited near the plate like a quiet dare she did not want. I don't owe anyone my body, she said. You don't owe anyone your breath, Harlan said. She ate because swallowing was easier than shaking. The door stood open to the road. Heat hovered, and the house kept a thin hush that made every sound matter. Harlan leaned in the doorway without blocking it. They will come, she said. They were always coming, he said. A knock struck the wood like a nail going home. Her hand tightened, and the crumb broke. She did not want to be seen chewing. Door, the sheriff said from the porch. Open, Harlan said. He stepped aside so she could still see the road. The sheriff came in with his hat in his hand and his badge not showing. He smelled of cedar and courthouse ink. He looked at the ribbon, then at her face. So, wife, he said. No, she said. Yes, Harlan said. You two can't even agree on a lie, the sheriff said. We'll practice, Harlan said. The cousin slipped in behind the badge with a smile sharpened on other people's teeth. He kept his gloves on. Condolences, Mara. The mill sends flowers and invoices. Take the flowers back to the grave, she said. The invoices stay, he said. He set a ledger on the table, as if placing a stone in a creek. Its spine was a scar. The book sat beside her crumbs and made the food feel small. The sheriff set his hat on a chair and watched Harlan's hands like he expected them to rise. Your man owed hours. Hours make dollars. Dollars make land, the sheriff said. We have nothing, Mara said. Nothing can be taken, too, the cousin said. Leave the book, Harlan said. What for? The sheriff said. Reading, Harlan said. She can't pay with eyes, the cousin said. I can, Harlan said. You won't? Mara said. We'll see, Harlan said. The sheriff's gaze went back to the ribbon. Town don't like a mess at graves, he said. Town made it, Harlan said. You ain't from here, the sheriff said. I am now, Harlan said. The cousin let his glance drift over the small room and rest on the chair shaped like a prayer. Nice place for a story, he said. Sit down, Harlan said. No. Standing suits the truth, the cousin said. Mara felt the floor tremble. He tapped the ledger. Your husband signed 4 extra hours when the mill needed them. When a man signs, his house signs with him. He signed when he was drunk, she said. A signature is sober after the ink dries, he said. He bled for that place, she said. That is work, too, he said. Easy, the sheriff said. Mara pulled the ledger a hand's width toward her and felt the tacky corner where someone had wiped it and missed the rest. The rope that frayed the rope quivered like a lie about to break. Harlan felt the tremor crawl into his palms and fixed his grip. Mud clenched their boots. The wall breathed cold. He turned the lamp low so the dark could draw the edges. There, cutting, Mara said. We're tying, Harlan said. He fed the line through a nail set in the mortar and back through the loop at his belt so their weight would choke the hitch. The ribbon on his wrist brushed bone, a small flag that would not quit. If I fall, don't follow, she said. If you fall, I fall. We stay true or we stay gone, he said. Above, the guard swore at the weight he could not lift. Too heavy, the guard called, matchstick voice breaking on stone. Another voice slid over the rim, cleaner and cold. Let gravity do the talking, the cousin said. The rope popped one fiber at a time like corn, afraid of heat. Third rung, Mara said. Fourth, he said. Don't count, she said. Counting is how we own time, he said. He felt each snap and fed the line through again, so the nail took the strain. He wedged his boot into a crack and bent his knee until it became a step. Climb on me, he said. I've already been carried, she said. Then carry me carrying you, he said. She laughed once, thin and alive. Fine, she said. She set her weight on his thigh and reached for the next nub of iron. Her nails scraped stone and curled white. The tin box thumped under her coat and told her it was still there. Careful, he said. Careful made me quiet, she said. Careful can keep you alive, he said. Alive isn't the same as free, she said. They moved together. The world narrowed to rope, stone, breath. Water ticked in seams. Air rose from below as if the ground exhaled. The braid jittered under Harlan's hands and he kept tension on the hitch so it could not jump. He's sawing, Mara said. He wants the rope to finish the work, Harlan said. Who? She said. The cousin, or the habit. Difference, she said. Paper with teeth, he said. She reached again and found a hold cut by men who were not poets but had knives and time. Say your name, Harlan said. Mara. The well returned it, as a dull bell. Say yours, she said. Harlan. The sound steadied his fingers. He thought of the ledger on the post, and the circled date, and the letters in the box, and the bones that had learned patience. He climbed as if numbers were rungs he could trust and breath was money he could spend. Third rung? She said again, stubborn as breath. Fourth, he answered, because answering mattered. She reached back once and touched his wrist. The ribbon rasped her skin and told her he was there. Light narrowed to a slit. The sheriff's hat crossed it and blotted a piece of day. Enough, the sheriff said. You say that to them or to me? The cousin asked. Yes, the sheriff, said Harlan, tasted cedar on the air, and pictured a badge asleep in a pocket. The guard spat, and the spit hit stone. The rope jumped in his palm. A single hair parted and sang. He tied another hitch without looking. If the line goes, she said. We use the wall, he said. If the wall goes, we use each other, he said. You sure? She said. No, honest beats, sure, he said. She climbed to his shoulder, and he rose beneath her. Don't save me, she said. I'm not. I'm standing where you can step, he said. She caught the next iron and swung her weight. He came after, setting his foot where hers had been, the shafts. Rhythm settled into their muscles. When we get up there, don't call me wife, she said. I'll call you witness, he said. Say my name, Mara, again, Mara. She pulled, and he rose, and the well felt smaller. The crack in the wall bowed at there, elbows above, boot soles scuffed and paused. He'll try again, she said. He doesn't like work, Harlan said. He likes results. So do I, she said. Then take another, he said. She did. The iron held. The rope sagged, then snapped tight. Hold, he said. Holding, she said. They swung and kissed stone and steadied. He breathed once, slow, and moved the knot lower one last time. Light swelled, then thinned. The sheriff's shadow tilted. A face leaned over and vanished. The cousin's laugh came down sour. Pull, the cousin said. The truck did not start. The habit waited. Harlan felt the rope burn his hands and welcomed the proof. He wanted marks that matched the pages in the tin. Now, he said. Now, she said. She found the top ring of iron and hooked her wrist, and held. Nails scraped stone. Blood named her honest. He rose under her and locked his elbow so she could step. The rope gave one last lurch, like a bad thought being born. Harlan drove his boot into a seam and shouldered the wall to steady her. Over, he said. Together, she said. She pushed and he rose. The rim met their knuckles, splinters biting. The day beyond felt thin and mean. They did not stop for it. The sheriff did not move above. Their hands reached over the lip, and day felt like night as they touched shadow before skin. They spilled onto the ground and lay on the stones a moment. Chest to sky, air sharp in their throats. Harlan kept one hand on the rope, as if the well might tug again. Mud striped Mara's sleeves. The tin box pressed cold under her coat and made her ribs feel counted. The sheriff stood between them and the cousin and stared into the dark mouth, as if it might speak first. Alive, he said. Angry, Mara said. Both, Harlan said. The cousin stepped close, face neat as a desk, shoes clean, eyes steady. That well is private, he said. So were the men you threw in, Harlan said. Careful, the cousin said. We were, Harlan said. Harlan pushed to a knee and opened the tin so the town could see the handwriting. He laid the letters out like cards from a deck nobody should own. He set the ledger beside them and opened to the circled date and the column where hours leaned into nothing. Men on truck beds leaned forward with forearms on knees. Women stood with arms crossed and feet set, dust held in the air, and waited for someone to name it. Mara felt gravel bite her back and let the pain make sense. A woman called from the fence, "What's in there?" "The hours you were told your men spent fishing," Harlan said. "Lies," the cousin said. "Numbers," Harlan said. "Names," Mara said. "And marriage," Harlan said. "Don't," Mara said. "Mara is my wife," Harlan said. "I'm not anybody's," she said. "You're yours." "I'm standing next to that," he said. The word wife unrolled across the yard and lay like a shield, daring anyone to step on it. Men looked at the sheriff as if a price tag might appear on his hat. Women leaned in and held still. "Paper," the sheriff said. "Later," Harlan said. "You don't get later," the sheriff said. "Then we get loud," Harlan said. He lifted a letter and read the neat 7, the tidy totals, the line that said pay in quiet or drown in water. He read a second and a third, and let the numbers walk across the gravel. "Enough," the cousin said. "You're stirring grief." "I'm lifting it," Harlan said. "The mill won't be shamed by a box," the cousin said. "It will be changed by it," Mara said. "Slow," the sheriff said, almost gentle. "No more slow," Mara said. Slow filled the well. A woman on a tailgate said. "What's on those pages?" an older man asked. "The hours stolen, and the threats used to keep them stolen," Harlan said. He turned the ledger so the town could see. He tapped the circled date that matched the night she waited, and the front step stayed empty. "Your clerk wrote murder in math," Harlan said. The word landed and held. The sheriff set his hat on a chair and leaned into the print. He smelled of cedar and courthouse ink. "I'm seeing what I'm seeing," he said. "Say it," Harlan said. "Say it now," Mara said. "I see fraud," the sheriff said. The word came small and grew when the crowd breathed at once, and then again. "You two can't even agree on a lie," the cousin said. "We'll practice," Harlan said. "Practice in jail if you don't hand that book back." "The cousin," said Udo. "Run the door," Mara said. "I own the mill road," he said. "You don't own the dead," she said. He tried a kind voice he used for news he planned to ignore. "Mara, grief does strange work," he said. "Grief counts better than your clerk," she said. A boy near the well counted under his breath and stopped at 12, like the number had teeth. "What happens now?" a woman asked. "You go home," the cousin said. "You go quiet," he added. "We don't," Harlan said. "We come with you," the woman with flour on her shirt said. "We're not done looking," the older man said. "My brother's watch never turned up," someone called. "Check the bottom," another voice said, and a short, hard laugh ran along the fence and stopped. Harlan turned to the list he had marked on the back page. Elam, Ruth, Tanner, Cole, Mark, Lyle, 3 with crosses, he said. A woman's breath cracked. A man covered his mouth. "Who made the crosses?" the sheriff said. "The habit," Mara said. "The clerk," Harlan said. Someone on a tailgate said, "The cousin," and did not look at him. The cousin checked his cuff and found nothing wrong with it. "Paper," the sheriff said one more time. "Later," Harlan said again, softer now. "No," the sheriff said. "Now, or I take it and read it myself." "Read it next to me," Harlan said, and he set the ledger so their shadows fell together over the page. The cousin laughed. "You think a word changes a ledger?" he said. "Yes," Mara said. "Today it does." She stepped until her shoulder touched Harlan's and let it stay there. The sheriff did not move away. "You'll wish you never climbed," the cousin said. "We're still climbing," Mara said. "Are you?" he said. "Everyone who wants a town that can sleep without drowning men is climbing," Harlan said. The sheriff shifted his boot and Grit spoke. He drew breath as if to say a charge. He kept it and stared at the cousin until the cousin looked aside. The cousin moved first. He took one neat step, like a man stepping from a photograph, and bent. From the waist, Harlan did not pull the ledger away. Mara did not blink. The cousin's mouth shaped a smile that had nowhere left to live. He leaned over the open page where the circled date sat like a burn, and looked at Harlan, and then at Mara, and then at the yard, and weighed them against the way things had always been. "You'll wish you never counted," he said to the page. "Count with me," Harlan said. "Count with us," Mara said. He looked at the sheriff and saw the hat on the chair. He looked at the trucks and saw faces that would not look down. He looked at Mara and saw a woman who would not step back. He looked at Harlan and saw a man who would read every line aloud. He leaned in close enough that Harlan could smell the sweet he used to hide the rot, and shaped a careful aim. The cousin's spit lands on the ledger, a wet signature, that reached the borrowed house before the light was gone. The house breathed slow. The ribbon dried against Harlan's skin. He set the tin on the table and the ledger on the chair. Mara stood in the doorway and counted her pulse. He called the, "Well, warm," she said. "That was the lie that let him go back," Harlan said. "I used to set a plate for him," she said. "Set one for you," Harlan said. She put down a chipped dish without food. The room cooled a degree without wind. The chair across from them was full of somebody not seen. "Do you feel that?" she said. "Yes," Harlan said. "Is it God? It's a memory that wants to be fed." A floorboard spoke in a voice her husband never used when sober. "You're nothing without me," the husband's voice said. "I am nothing with you," Mara said. "You are Mara," Harlan said. "Drown the book," the voice said. "No," Mara said. "No," Harlan said. The ledger pages lifted though. There was no breeze, and then lay flat again. Harlan held the cover down. "He made you hold their bills," he said. "He made me hold the pen," she said. "You don't have to hold it now," he said. "I'm holding myself," she said. Far off, a motor coughed. "The town's fraying," Harlan said. "Let it," she said. "The cousin gathers men," he said. "He gathers boys who want to be told," she said. "If he stands in that chair, he can stand outside," she said. "Then let him watch us choose," Harlan said. She slid the ledger to the center and set the tin on top, as if weight could teach the past to sit. "I used to carry his boots in so neighbors wouldn't see the mud," she said. "Leave the mud," Harlan said. "Let them see. They'll say I made him mean," she said. "They already did," he said. "Say your name," he added. "Mara," she said. A board popped, gentle and cruel. "You're nothing," the voice tried again. "I am Mara," she said. "Say it," Harlan said. "I am Mara," she said. Louder. Silence moved back a step. She poured water and did not drink. "He made me serve that lie," she said. "Serve yourself," he said. The motor coughed again, nearer. Boots measured the porch, heel to toe, testing boards. The cousin's voice floated with it. The ledger seemed to glow, a dark wound that wanted air. Harlan kept his hand on it. "I'm tired of being carried," she said. "Then open the door you choose," Harlan said. "If I open it, they walk in," she said. "If you don't, they own your fear," he said. "You'll stand beside you," he said. "Not over me." Beside, she looked at the chair and spoke to what sat in it. "You can watch," she said. "You can't touch." She looped the ribbon around the ledger and tied a hard knot. "You keep the count," she told Harlan. "I'll keep the door." She walked to the entry. The boards bent and held. She laid her palm on the knob. The voices went quiet, as if prayer finally started with her own name. And the boots gathered on the porch in the dark. Mara opened the door to the dark porch. The cousin stood with 2 men and a torch. The sheriff waited off to the side. "The book," the cousin said. "No," Mara said. He dipped the torch. A corner flared. Harlan moved, but she stopped him. "Let them see what they burn," she said. Women gathered in the road. Harlan read the letters. Your clerk wrote murder in math paper, the sheriff asked. Here, Harlan said, showing the circled date and the line that said balance by water. The yard held its breath. I see fraud, the sheriff said, and he cuffed the cousin. The men looked at their boots and said nothing. They walked to the mill. At the gate, Harlan pulled down the old letters. What now? He asked. Name, Mara said. Common. They painted it plain. The machines hummed and waited. Wife, Harlan said. Beside me, she answered. The gate stopped swinging. They turned for home, hungry and unafraid.